Apologetics seeks to give credible answers to curious questions.
Jim, I've known you for several years now, and it's been a lot of fun for me as your friend to watch how God has raised you up. I mean, we met when Cold Case came out, and you came in the studio, and then you did God's Crime Scene and Forensic Faith, and you have been traveling all over the country, you've been speaking, and I think sometimes, we watch people who go from smaller platforms to larger platforms, and we're just, first of all, we're thankful for all the work you've done, and we're grateful for your heart for God. But I think it would be fun just to kind of give our audience a little bit of some of the lessons you've learned on the road. You've seen the world. I mean, what are you learning these days? What kind of advice would you give to aspiring apologists? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think it's at first it's organic, right? At first when it happens, you don't plan for it. I just came out of one field, and I still have 2 open cases, so I'm not quite sure where I am right now. I'm not quite sure, am I a detective, am I an apologist? I think you're both. But the first year or so was just me kind of being swept up in the tide.
Yeah.
And that thing drives you into the sand and back out again, and after a while you kind of think, okay, let's hold on now. What is it specifically that God has called me to do? Sometimes you just say yes to everything, and I don't know what it is that I'm supposed to be doing. And you're just letting it happen to you. But I think it's okay for us to say, well, what has God really shaped me to do well? And so what happened to me as a pastor who became a teacher, who became a speaker, all of these things that kind of, I've let God show me that really, though you're better at this, you're more refined. I'm refining to figure out who I am, right? So that I can do that well. Because if you continue to do everything, eventually you reach a point of kind of burnout, where you're like, I can't do anymore. So I want to be able to go along, and that means I'm going to have to really listen carefully to what God's trying to tell me and to where I'm gifted. Because I do believe that God has given all of us special gifts, and if we can kind of get in alignment with that gifting, we're going to be okay. We're going to be effective in culture. So the last, I think, 5 years for me have been, well, what is it specifically that God is trying to get me to address? What are my gifts? Can I stay in my lane? Right? Don't think too broad. I know that God is using me in a way that He's not, you're using you in a way I can't use me. He's using both of us. So you don't need to step into my lane. I don't need to step into yours. We can't do it all. And I just want to be one part of this family where you're another part of the family, right? I think what I've learned more than anything else is that the community of apologists are some of the most gracious men and women you're ever going to meet. And they humble me to make me want to be gracious. I can remember the first time, just to tell a story I shouldn't be telling probably on a video like this, when Lee Strobel first called me and I sent him Cold Case Christianity, and I said, hey, would you be willing to just look at it? Maybe you could even endorse it at some point. And he wrote back to me and said, would you like me to write the foreword? And I thought, yeah, please. But I thought, how gracious. He doesn't know me from Adam, and here he is. And it turns out at every single turn, there was someone like that who was just, and realized this is a team sport, and we just want to be part of a larger team. So what that has done is it's humbled me, and turned a guy who was always skeptical about people, because that's my nature as a detective. That works as a detective, to be able to let my guard down and realize that some people just have the Spirit of God flowing through them, and that's a real thing, and I don't have to be suspicious of, because I am by nature a suspicious person. But what I've learned here is that has been humbling, and it has inspired me, I hope, to be a better person.
We appreciate you. Thanks so much.
Brother. Appreciate you.